Oh, how many things there are to say. How many things can or could I say? Mm, a whole bunch of things I deal with on a regular basis. Just today, in fact, I happened to come across a tiffing couple, at which time the male informed her he was going to kill her, followed her into the bathroom, and I don't know, she was clearly telling him to get lost, and I informed the cashier he was inappropriately following her. While I was in process of cashing my check, I asked to step out to smoke a cigarette to discover more of the tiff, but it turned out to just be a breakup. But I snitched. Oh no, woe is me. Stalking an individual for a permanency of assumptions into which you will never stop doing until you get something, because you're insane, like, I don't know, a stalker. Only you're indulging in it because you think you're playing policeman of some kind. Good community snitches. Sorry, Negroes. Sorry, FBI. Sorry, Howard County. And they've created all sorts of methods into which one would be reducing such a manner because of all the federal workers, unpoliticized, which sanction themselves, or sanctuary themselves, into Howard County. Now, I know sometimes it gets into further and sort of ridiculous measures into which sometimes involve sexual favors if caught snitching. You have to be concerned. One of my fellow co-members threatened me the other day. Co-workers. He was standing behind me watching the news as I got my cash for my check. I asked the cashier, does he usually come in here and watch TV quite a bit? And she was like, yes, he's in fact very commonly doing this. I was like, okay, he threatened me the other day. I just had to double check it wasn't just me. And if it was, then therefore I might be concerned why he's not getting lost. Anyway, I've been rather friendly with him since then and said hello, but he doesn't seem to want to say hello back. Don't really care. But what this recording is about is snitching. Snitching is interesting. Sometimes we snitch on people for things which aren't real. We just get these ideas in our head when we see things, and who knows what the basis of that was. But unfortunately, a few people took the wrong way how I chose to select my pornography as a child. Not a child, but as a young man. But you see, I discovered I felt sort of guilty. As the same way I knew I would if I were to engage with a prostitute. Whether or not she was sort of enslaved by a pimp or sort of desperate or whatever, it really just doesn't make me feel right. It's not just about me paying for sex, it's about indulging, funding a world into which a woman erodes her emotional capacity for romance by whoring herself out, whether it be literal or in picture. But I came across variable sites. I used to have a fancy to indulge photography of women of different, I don't know, international orientation. Type in French girls, Israeli girls, Russian girls, Chinese girls, Japanese girls, whatever. And I discovered once, looking for French girls, the ever so famous nude beaches they have there. I noticed all the people on these pictures were relatively happy. And I thought to myself, None of these women are being paid or prostituted into some sort of pornography ring in order to give me my jollies. That actually makes me feel a bit less guilty. So, from that point forward, I focused on nudist pornography. And as well, I found a site with women called Suicide Girl. They really perceive themselves as pieces of art. They were lesbians, no penises involved, quite nice. And their tattoos were relatively attractive. Not to mention, I sort of doing something naughty, like looking at a naughty girl. Anyways, how this has anything to do with anything, I didn't figure it out till much later. Unfortunately, one of the sort of course of indulging in nudist porn, which again is sort of more ethical, like porn ethical, I don't know. But again, not engaging, not funding, not giving clicks upon, not paying off advertisers for people, I don't know, being given the idea that holding themselves out in photography, you know, prostitution rings wasn't really my thing. So I focused upon the Suicide Girls and nudist porn. Suicide Girls were basically a sort of hip, dark, burlesque show of emo chicks with really good tattoos. Um, they really saw themselves as a piece of art. They loved it. They loved creating this sort of, I don't know, fantasy for men. Because it was their fantasy too. Got to be with a woman, seduce, and prove they were still very much capable of grabbing the interest of a man. Sort of the most dominant way to go into that whole homosexual way of life. Fortunately, then you have to go into it with the realization that the opposite sex doesn't quite like them. Whether that has anything to do with character or personality, it's beyond me. I don't know. I'm not really trying to play psychologist here. What I'm trying to get to is this. I can't believe it just took me 7 minutes and 40 goddamn seconds to do it. Jesus Christ. Unfortunately, on these nudist sites, it's like Adam and Eve. These people live there. It's their sanctuary. It's their way of life. And yes, they raise children there. It was a little bizarre for me as well, but frankly, I was more indulgent in the fact that people want becoming, I don't know, jaded by some sort of pornography ring prophet or some type. So I just kind of turned the other shoulder to it, and I don't know. You guys know me. I like big women. I like natural looks. So I like happy faces. Genuinely happy faces. Even though a no face is rather becoming when you're in that mode. But I don't know. Just became my go-to thing because it made me feel like I wasn't giving in to, I don't know, turning women into whores, basically. Um, Pretty sure this is how that rumor came about, unfortunately. Sorry.